There. Having said that, I will pass the mic to Councillor Tucky. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First thing in order here is declaration of financial interest and statement of disclosure of interest. Seeing none. No delegations. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented, please?
I move the agenda be adopted as presented.
I'll second that.
Any questions arising from the agenda as presented? Mayor Daniels?
Yeah, perhaps we could just add one more piece there, which we have to deal with. It's our cemetery. If we could just have that on here. Yeah.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Passed unanimously. Minutes from the Municipal Services Standing Committee minutes for June 11th, 2024 were reviewed and adopted at the regular meeting of Council on June 18th, 2024. We've all had time to review our visions and values and the director's report from Municipal Services. Are you doing that? Ms. Galucci.
So if you had a chance to go through and have any questions, let me know. Like there's a good list of some of the things that Municipal Services has been working on. One of the things that got left out of here that I do really want to highlight because it does show how we're able to be successful with things by working together for our events, all of the large events that have taken place in this community. Municipal Services has played a huge role in that as well. So I don't want that to go missed. Setting up the stage for the National Indigenous Peoples Day, bringing dumpsters and porta potties back and forth and getting us everything we need moved and barbecues and corn pots and the list goes on. And sometimes we don't have a lot of notice and they're always there. They deliver what we need when we need it. They help us with the cleanup, all that stuff. So I wanted to also highlight that they're doing the regular duties, the garbage, the pump outs, the landfill, the sewer flushing, all of that, but they're also helping out the fun things in our community as well. So just a big shout out for all the work that goes into that and appreciation for the extras.
Thank you, Ms. Galucci. Any questions? Mayor Daniels? No? Okay. Okay, moving on to number 6, bylaw policy review and development. Briefing note.
Briefing note on changing of signing authorities. I recommend that the signing authorities for the town of Fort Smith shall be Mayor Fred Daniels, Deputy Mayor Diana Kroll, and Councillor Leonard Tucky on behalf of council, and that signing authorities for the town of Fort Smith shall be Tracy Thomas, Senior Administration Officer, and Emily Calucci, Director of Community Services. That all documents must be signed by 2 officers, one from council and one from administration.
Thank you, Councillor Coover. Can we have a seconder on that?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Carried unanimously.
You see, we have for discussion. Um, I move that we schedule a special meeting on July 23rd, 2024 at 6:45 for the introduction and first reading of bylaw 1059 by short, which I believe by short title will be bylaw 1059, appointment of Fire Chief Adam McNabb.
Any, yeah, guess we need a second yet.
I'll second that.
You want to make that motion? That was a motion. Okay, discussion. Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Yes.
Carried unanimously. Sure. Go ahead. Ms. Galucci?
So there were quotes received regarding an assessment of the William Schaefer Memorial Pool. And two of the quotes have been included and what the successful quote would be. I think for here, it's being left for discussion. So currently there's no budget allocated to this as capital work or in O&M. So I think it's open for discussion for council.
Councillor Couvert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess this was considered a reasonably urgent item couple of months back when we were having last little while that the pool has not closed. And I think we should still move forward with getting this assessment done and looking at what it's going to cost and what needs to be done for a longer term solution to the 20-year-old swimming pool. As I've mentioned before, I believe it's probably very close to at least halfway through its projected life cycle, and retrofits need to be done to keep it operational without it shutting down every other week. So I'd like to put forward a motion that we accept the proposal submitted by Masqua Engineering with a price of $12,100 to do a pool assessment of the William Schaefer Memorial Pool Facility, and that they come back to us with recommendations for how to keep this pool up and running over the next half of its life cycle, and that that we find that the funding be allocated possibly to our gas tax, if possible, or look at other avenues to fund this without this work being done. We're just going to continually see our pool not available to the public, and it is one of our prime assets. And I think the public will be quite concerned that they're not able to access one of the prime facilities that their taxes are supposed to be paying for, and they should have access to.
Thank you, Councillor Couvret. There's a motion on the floor. Can you get someone to second it, please?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Councillor Couvret.
As part of the motion, I guess we should be asking if administration could bring forward a recommendation of where the funding, what
Ms. Bellucci.
Yeah, so that motion goes through, that would be then figuring out where that will fit in the budget. Can be left with administration, and we can bring back some options.
Thank you. No further discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Passed unanimously. Number 8, other business. Mayor Daniels?
Yes, I just want brief discussion on the cemetery. How can we fix that problem? We're just not getting it cut enough and stuff. I don't know if we probably need more summer seed program if we can get it. I'm not sure where we are at this year with it. But there's other ways that I was looking at to solve this problem once from where I'll actually get 2 out of it is, these kids are traveling out of the country on their school curriculum. And I'm thinking if we were to put, say, 3,000, 4,000 away, say annually, and then the kids from that travel club would do the cutting of the grass, then we could give it to them. At least they'd have $4,000 there to travel with. So that way we're getting our grass done, and we're also supporting the kids that are leaving on their school activities. That's one of the things that I put together that would help us and get out of this. It doesn't need to be looked at. And obviously, I don't think we have enough people to do it because we're doing garbage. We're doing sewer pump outs. They're draining the lines and everything. Then the town has grown. All the stuff you see in the town, like you're looking at a town of 8,000 people. We only have 24 here if we're lucky. So we got to start taking a look at how we're going to do this in a much better approach. So those are one of the ways that I was thinking about it. But that if we could just get it limp in here, I think we're just 3 months away, maybe 2 months away from snow. And if we could get it done for now and then try to plan that out before elections or whatever, how we could fix that. Is this the town? Sure, the town does everything in that, but there's other players in the community that could also help us. So I'm looking at different avenues how to do that and get 2 for 1 out of it. So I don't know if council has any more suggestions, and sure. Thanks.
Councillor
I
Couvret.
have my hand up.
Deputy Mayor Coral.
That one option isn't out there, but did you have any progress with the other Indigenous groups in town, perhaps with any of their summer students being able to be seconded to help with that, and anything with the fence?
No, I didn't get anything with students. The fence is, well, it's still here. I guess if we want to order it or something, I'm not sure what council wants to do with that.
Councillor Couvret.
I really support the idea that Mayor Daniels is looking at it, having groups take on some of these minor maintenance responsibilities. And throughout the year, and I've brought this up before, is we give a lot of groups funding through our donations and contribution program. And I think part of our review of our donation policy should include a requirement for these groups to, if they're going to get $1,500 or $5,000 from them, and that's about the range most of the groups are asking for, they should be willing to do, let's call it community services, and sort of volunteer. If you're going to get $1,500, you're going to volunteer 10 hours of community services from your group. If you get 5,000, maybe you volunteer 30 hours. Work something out, and then these things that are falling through the cracks, such as the mowing of and cleaning of the cemetery, picking garbage out of ditches occasionally, things like that. These community services groups that are getting funding, taxpayers' money, can do that work as part of their commitment to access. Include is assisting our summer staff with things during Canada Day and other activities. Like, we shouldn't have to bear all of this upon ourselves. I remember back when I first moved here, Canada Day was done primarily by the Lions organization. They did all the fish frying. They got the fish and all of that. What has happened to our community spirit, where people ask for something and they contribute back to our community? I think that's where we really need to start looking at through our donations policy.
Ms. Galucci.
Hard Cs. So I think there's a couple things to unpack to go through all the way. So Mayor Daniels, if I kind of address what you're suggesting first, I think the idea of having the community invested and involved with some of these, especially a location like the cemetery that's very important to many community members. I think you're on a good track around having community involvement. We do have to be careful around things like paying other people to do the work, though, because our collective agreement is very limiting in that regard. So we do, I mean, I guess that's what administration's job is, worried about those details, right? But we do have to be careful with some of that. But I don't think that there isn't merit in the idea, but maybe more along the lines of a community group forming as an organization, and then it can be a donation made, when what happens with that donation can be involved with whatever that organization does. But if we're saying that money's going directly to pay students to do the work, that from my own experience, that's typically how when I grew up, we managed the cemeteries in the area that I lived in, to do some cleanup and regular maintenance. But so that was one. And then with regards to having community organizations that are receiving donations from us that are already running programs or clubs or events, I'd like to be careful and caution that we don't undermine and underestimate the value that they're already contributing to the community. So the money that's being donated and the work that they're doing it takes a lot already. The volunteerism that they're showing is something that we don't want to then load more on top of, because they are adding value to the community already. So when we give money to Paddle Fest, we see the return is that people come into the community. It's an event that's world renowned. We have things like that add to it. I know the music festival has changed over the years, but in the same respect, it's adding to the community. It's adding what comes here. So I wouldn't, knowing how much work goes into these types of things, I would caution around trying to put more expectations outside of what they're currently running, because that's already outside of their normal work.
Mayor Daniels?
Yeah, no, I hear you there. It's just that looking at it and, there is groups that are left out here and perhaps they don't apply to us. You take a look at the girls guys, they just started, right? So how do we help that group out? How do we do that to make sure they take off? The brownies, Boy Scouts, armories, like how do we help out those ones too? Also, and the kids too, if they're traveling, well, how do we get in there and help them out? I'm just trying to, give $2 away, and I deleted two problems that we had, and I have nothing, no problem with donation wise, but yeah, I'm trying to reach out to those other smaller groups. Like, how do we help you too? Because the girl guys, like, they haven't been around here for ages, right? And someone just started them out. So like, let's help that person out and develop this for these girls. And yeah, I've taken a different look at it, outside the box look, and how do we solve this problem? Everything in life could be solved. It just, you got to sit down and think it out. And yeah, I want to keep that going. And the also thing I brought it up before is in these in this proposal, we're not putting enough money in there. I think, what do we got in there? 15 maybe, 15K, 30K. Yeah, probably not a lot. 40. Okay. Okay, put up to 75 in there, because my belief is the town doesn't have to always do everything. We got to get out of that thinking. There's people out there, there's groups in there. How do we touch base with them so everyone's working as our community? It's not only the town's community, our community, it's everyone's community. How do people get involved in looking after their community? There once said it's not what your country could do for you, it's what you could do for your country. So what can we do for our town? We need more involvement. So let's take a look at that, how we do that. If we put up 75, like I say, like baseball team, they're going to bring in baseball, like 5 leagues or whatever. That brings money into our community and also to the local stores and whatever have you. And the same with the other companies is the other groups, curling, whatever it is. And, is how do we reach out for them to do more of our work, and everyone feel happy about it. Is I just don't think we're reaching out further enough. And I want to get beyond that to the smaller groups now. How do we make them bigger and successful and to help their community and be proud of it? It's a two-way working street that I'm looking at, I guess. And yeah, I'm a dreamer. So there's my dream on that one. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any further discussion? Okay, moving on. Can I get a motion to excuse councillors, please?
I move that Councillors Ferguson and Pissinger be excused from the Municipal Services Standing Committee meeting on July 16, 2024.
I'll second.
All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillor, okay.
I move the mayor and council go in camera session under section 23, paragraph 3, subparagraph E of the Cities, Towns, and Villages Act regarding a matter still under consideration on which council has not yet publicly announced a decision.
You have a seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Yes.
Passed unanimously. Thank you.